What's up guys, how you doing? I'm starting new JavaScript tutorial series. Hope you're gonna enjoy this. In this tutorial, I'm going to do the very basic JavaScript where you will learn JavaScript fundamental. So I recommend all the new beginners that instead of jumping direct into the frameworks, it's very good idea to start from the fundamental first. When you learn fundamental properly, and if you spend a couple hours learning fundamental now, you'll save days working on frameworks later on. So as you know, if you learn JavaScript, you can write program for web development, mobile apps, and even Windows application. So you can run JavaScript basically everywhere you want. JavaScript is one of the most used programming language for all purpose. So if you learn JavaScript properly, it will definitely pay out in your future. So with saying that, let's jump into the laptop and then we learn some JavaScript. Let's write some code. Alright, let's see you in there. Hi there, this is Premacharya here from Dented Code. Let's start learning about JavaScript. So what's JavaScript? JavaScript is one of the most popular dynamic programming languages. You can use JavaScript to create websites, mobile apps, and even software for the computers. It is a very powerful language and not that hard to learn. Sometimes people get confused between JavaScript and ES6. So let's clear that out before we start jumping into coding. So since the JavaScript created in 1995, many developers were so excited to write the web page with the JavaScript, and they started to write the way they want to. And the browser had its own way of supporting the JavaScript. So this caused so many issues at that time. A developer had to write a different block of JavaScript code to comply with different browser support. It was really frustrating for developers. So to solve that issue, the European Computer Manufacturers Association was created to form the guidelines for JavaScript standards, which is also known as ECMAScript. In 1997, ECMAScript 1 was released. So over the decades, so many new features have been added to JavaScript ecosystem as per the ECMAScript standard. So the ES6 is the short form of ECMAScript 6 or ECMAScript 2015. Once the ECMAScript is released, it takes some time for all the browser to adopt that new feature for support. That's why sometimes you may have heard developer talking about some feature is not supported by some browser, so they need to use transpiler. We'll look into the ES6 feature in a little while. So okay, I hope that makes sense to you about the ECMAScript and JavaScript. Now let's see how we can code the JavaScript, and along the way I'll show you how we can use ES6 way of writing JavaScript as well. Okay, let's start writing the code. I have a folder here called JS for Beginners, and there's nothing inside the folder. So I'm going to use VS Code to write the code and use Google Chrome for a browser to load the page. Okay, so I'll open the folder in VS Code. So if you haven't set up your computer environment yet for modern web development, I have a video showing you how you can set up your computer for modern web development environment. I'll put the link on the description or card on the top. So go and set up your computer and then you can follow along. Okay, so the VS Code is open. Yeah, okay, so let me make this there. Okay, so there is nothing here. Let's create a basic file first. Let's say entry file for HTML, index.html for now, and then we lay down a basic boilerplate for HTML, and we're going to say here, okay, basic JavaScript tutorial, and just say hello there to make sure that this page loads correctly. Okay, I'm gonna run with a live server extension. So alright, here you can see hello there, the page is loaded, and I want you to open, if you are following along, right click on the page and open the inspect, and you will get this element page. So here you can see console here. If you don't see here, it will be on the list. So open the console and see So we are going to console out the JavaScript here. Okay, let's make it a little bigger. Yeah, here you go. Alright, there are two ways you can write JavaScript. So one way you can write JavaScript within the HTML page, that is called embedded JavaScript. To write the JavaScript in the HTML page, simply you open the script tag and close the script tag and write anything you want to write here, all the JavaScript code, that will work. So in our case, let's do console.log for now. That is saying that log whatever you are going to write inside this bracket. So hello hello world. Just save the file, and then here you can see hello world, and save this. And now we need to bring this file and import inside this HTML page. So let's remove this one first. So there is nothing here. Now let's bring that file and load into this HTML file. To do that, you do source and put the file path script.cs and save the file. Now there you go. I'm from the separate file, and let me change this again just to make sure. Hello world again. There you go, hello world. So this is how we can use JavaScript right in the separate file and import in HTML. Okay, now we're going to work on the script file so that we can write all of our JavaScript code here. So let's start from syntax. Okay, I'll just comment out whatever we are doing here, and I'll upload this file in GitHub and provide the link to GitHub Repo so that you guys can reference whenever you need. Okay, so syntax, basically this is how you write down. You write the statement and then you close with the you end with the semicolon. So normally you write code per line. So if you have multiple code, so basically the way it execute is that it will execute from top to bottom unless you have like a specified it. So in general, the code will evaluate from top to bottom, which you can see here, hello world 2 and 3. That's the syntax. For now, we'll write a lot of code here, so you'll know how to write syntax in a minute. Okay, and the other thing is the comment. So if you don't want to execute some line, you want to comment that out, right? So to do that, you basically put double / in front of the content, and then it will comment it out. Here you can see the like a grayed out. This one for single line, and if you want to do multiple line, so if you want to do multiple line comment out, you do / asterisk and then close with asterisk and /. So that means the line is commented out. So just want to show you, let's say if I make a copy of this one and save it, you see there is a the output, but if you comment out, it does not work. So let's say I don't want the first line to work, so that's the comment about. Okay, that's about the single line and multi-line comment. So now let's do the declaration. So basically, if you want to, let's say, give some value for some reason so that you can use in the future or later on the code, you have to create the variable to hold that value, and then you can reuse that value using variable. To create the variable, simply you put bar and let's say name, and then give whatever value you want to put. In my case, I'll put my name frame, and this is how you create, and then of course you put the semicolon. So now if I console this out, now we can reuse anywhere in the code. Now you can see the name, and you can reassign the value with the bar. So let's say if I want to put some other name, for that variable, I can put, if I save it, see now the value is overridden, the initial value. So this happens with the var, because every time you define var, the name is available in global. So that means you can access that name variable from anywhere on that page. Okay, so there is two ways that you can define the var, so define the variable. So there is that's the ES way. So ES6 way of defining variable are const, let's say name, I'll say name, and the let is, so let's take it out. So this is how you can define the value variable in ES6. So name, I will put again frame here, and then as I'll put 20. I wish I'm 20 now. Okay, so if I put it now name, so okay, hang on, I need to put I'll do first name. Okay, so if I console this out, my name, and then if I console this as out, you can see the as. Now remember what I said before, when you define the variable with var, it will be available in whole global, and you can reuse that variable to reassign the value. That does not work in the const. So if you try to rename the const variable, it will throw an error. Now if I save it, you can see here error. See, the assignment to constant variable, that means you cannot reassign the value. So you are going to use const if you know that you don't want to change the value in the future. So that's the const. And let is little different. Let, you can reassign the value to, let's say 30. You can reassign the value, but how, like the var is available globally, but let is not available globally. If you declare this variable within a function or method, it will only be available for that particular block of code, and it cannot be accessed from outside the function. So it's like a private variable for that function. Okay, this is how you do ES6 way of defining variables. Okay, I'll just comment out. So that's how you can write the JavaScript on the HTML page and console out on the browser. Okay, now the other way you can write JavaScript in separate file. When you are working on the real project, you will not have only 1 or 2 pages where you can write JavaScript in HTML page. So you're probably gonna have like 100 or even thousands of JavaScript files. So it's good idea to separate the file from HTML and create its own JavaScript file. So here let's create script.js. You can write whatever you like in the JavaScript file name, but the file extension must be .js. Okay, let's hit that, and let's do console.log, and the next I want to see is the operator. Let's look in the JavaScript operators. So we have a few different operators. Let's look first arithmetic operator. Okay, arithmetic operators are like a basic one, like a plus, minus, multiplication, divide, mod, and the ES6 has exponential. Yeah, those are the arithmetical operators. Let me quickly show you how you can use that in JavaScript. So let's do I'll do let here. No, I'll do const. Okay, const result equals to, let's do 5 plus 6, and then let's console this result out. If I save it, now you see the result here. Okay, I'll make it bigger if you want to. Okay, so that's the plus. Let's do 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 5 6, and then I'm gonna reuse them. Okay, so that's the plus, and let's comment this out. I want to leave this one for your reference. So minus, simply put the value and save it. 15 minus 6 equals to 9, and let's do the multiplication. Let's do 2 times 3, save. We have to comment that out. Yeah, 2 times 3 equals to definitely 6. And the divide, let's do 12 divide 6, that should be 2. Okay, and the another one is modulus. I'm pretty sure you guys know modulus. If you don't know, the modulus is when one number is divided by another number, and if there is anything extra on that number, that is modulus. In our case, when 12 is divided by 6, it will divide exactly 6 times 2, 12. But imagine if it was 13, there will be 1 left, right? So because 6 times 2, 12, 12 plus 1, 13. So if we save this, we'll have 1. If we do 14, we'll have 2. So that's the modulus. And the exponential is another one that is in ES6. ES6. So what happens is that you can, let's say, instead of doing 2 times 2 times 2 to get that 8 value, you can now basically say that, okay, that's exponential is 3 of 2. When you save it, it's still the same value. So this is same as, again, 2 times 2 times 2. Okay, that is pretty much about the arithmetical operator. Let's look, there is okay, I want to see, I think the increment and decrement I'll put here as well. Incremental and decremental. So especially you use this one in the loop where you want to increment the value to run the loop. Okay, I'll show you in a second. So in our case, let define a equals to 5 maybe, and if I console out a, now you have a 5. So if I do a plus plus, now the value of a will become 6 because this is increment by 1. So yeah, and decrement is similar, which you do by minus minus. If I save the file, okay, let's console this out. If I save it, it will become 4 because you reduce by 1. So this minus minus will always reduce the value by 1, and plus plus always increase the value by 1. Okay, I'll comment this out for you, and this comment out. Okay, the next I want to see is the comparison operator. Okay, in here we have few. So you can compare if it is equals or not with double equals to or triple equals to. We'll talk about that in a second. And you can say smaller than or greater than sign, and you, yes, I think we'll just do that one comparison for now. And okay, you can also use not. Okay, let's use them and see. Let's do const a equals to 4, const b equals to 5, not b equals to 5. And now if you want to compare them, let's say here, I'll just put in the console. So if if you want to do a equals to b, now it will console out false because a is not equals to b. So if you only do 1 equals to, you are assigning the value. So basically you are assigning b to a. He's saying here because we are using const here. See, the value of a is now 5. Okay, so double equals to means checking if the value is equal or not. If let's say here, let's say hi, a, and then let's change this value to high as well. See, now if the value is same, it will return true. But if you do equals to 333, it still does the same. But difference between triple equals to and double equals to is, in double equals to, it checks the value. In our case here, both the value is 1 and 1, which is true. In triple equals to, it checks the value plus the data type. So this one is number type and this one is string type. If for the data type, we'll look into later a little more in detail. So in this case, even the value is same, the data type are not. So when I save it, it will say false. So that's the difference between double or triple A. And if I want to see if, okay, let's do 4 and 5 like before, 4 and 5. So you can check if A is smaller than B. So A is smaller than B. True. Is A is greater than B. False. You can now combine equals to and smaller and greater sign as well. So you can say if A is greater than or equals to A. Still false. But if you can do if A is smaller or equals to B, when you save it, true, because A is 4. Or you can even use like a not, say if A is not equals to B, true, of course they are not. So this one will go if it checks for not. So not always check for if value is true, you are checking for false. If value is false, you are checking for true. Okay, that's for the comparison. The next I want to say the logical operator. Actually this one comes in logical operator as well. Let's do that now. In logical operator we have like and, or, and not. This one should be in logical. I would rather put in logical, yeah. And the ternary, I'll put ternary as well. I think this is how you spell. Let me know in comment if I'm spelling wrong, guys. I'm worst speller anyway. Okay, so how we use this one, I'll probably show you this one when we are working on if else section. That makes more sense. I'll just skip here and we'll get back to here. Okay, so these are the logical operator. So now let's look into the data types. Remember before we were doing in comparison, this one checks data type as well, not only value like this one. So let's check the data type. So data type, I will like to put data type in 2 categories at least. The first one being the primitive data type, means you declare the value and the variable holds the value, and the another one called the reference type. Which holds the reference of the memory location rather than the actual value. Okay, we'll go that in a second. Let's do the data type first. So in primitive data type we have commonly used. I mean, they are all used. Okay, the one is string, we have number, we have boolean, we have undefined, and we have null. So let's see the example of each of them. So let's do const str there, and const, let's say again, is equals to 25, and const is it true. You can put false as well. You put true or false here, and init initial value I'll put undefined, and const older. I'm just giving any like a random variable name. There is no meaning. Okay guys, so you can give whatever you like to. So null. So these are the primitive data types. So here they all holds the actual value. So now if we do console log string, I'm gonna console log everything. Actually, instead of consoling logging, let's check the data type. In here you can check data type with the JavaScript function. I would say rather method called type of. You write down type of, and then you write down the variable name. When you put space and variable, since this JavaScript is loaded in the HTML page already, now you can access all the variable. So now str is string, is number, is it, if I can spell it. Okay, that's not working because I spelled wrong again. true. Okay, if I do is it, is boolean, and init undefined, and holder, it's null but it's object. Okay, hang on, it's older, holder is object, because null is defined as object. So there you go, this is how you take the data type. And when you define the variable, guys, there are a few rules you need to remember. First, you cannot have space between the variable. Let's say, I'll just quickly show you. Let's put here, you cannot have space between the variable, and cannot start with number, and cannot use reserved word like console or even like a const. Cannot use the reserved word. Okay, that is for JavaScript. So other than that, you can define anything meaningful you like. Okay, that's all for the primitive data type. Let's go to reference data type. We have few of them. So they are object, array, and function. So let's check it out. So here, the object, how you can, so the way you're gonna define them is same way how we define the primitive variables. So first provide the const, or I'll do const again, and let's define the constant of person variable and create the object. To create the object, you need to have a opening and closing curly bracket. So anything you write inside here are the combination of key and pair. Key also called property of this person. So if you want to know, let's say create person, maybe you want name, and then you put colon and the value here. I'll say prem, and then if you want to write another property, you need to provide comma here, and then let's say age. You probably want, let's say I'll put 20 again. Okay, that's enough. If you want to do more value, you can do more property, you can define more here. Okay, you can do like so on and so on. So we just 2 is enough for now for our example. I'm gonna save the file, and if I print the person here, same like how I print the other variable, you can see here with the curly bracket, because this is the object. If you want to access the variable, the property of the object, let's say in the case of person, you only want to access the name, then you can access that one with person dot the property name, and when you save it, now you get the name only. If you only want the age, you can just change the property value. So that's 20 is the age. So this is how you use object. Let's look into array now. I'll just write down here. Now let's do array. Array is almost the same. In JavaScript, array are object as well, which is not in other programming language, but the way you define array is same way. You can do, let's say, const. Let's say you want to define the list of fruit. Let's say you have some favorite fruit you want to define. So I'll write fruit here and equals to, for array we define with square bracket opening and square bracket closing, and you put value inside and then separate by comma. This is how we write the create the array. And if it is a string data type, we put in the quotation refs. You can also combine with the number. You can have any data type within the array, but you have to separate with comma. Since 3 is not fruit, let's not put in the fruit section. I just want to show you. Now if you print that one out, let's see what happens. See, it shows you the index of array. Array index always start from 0 and it go up, increment by 1, 0, 1, 2, 3. So you got 4 total value here in array, but start with 0. The position of 0 is apple, position 1 is banana, position 2 and position 3. So the position first one is 0. Okay, this is how you define the array. So if you want to access one particular like a index value, you can do so by putting the index in the square bracket. So you write the variable, open and close the square bracket, and let's say if you want pair, you want 0, 1, 2. Put 2 here and save. Now you have pair actual value. So this is how you work with array. I'll save now. Okay, the next thing is the function. Start with function word, and in the function you have the opening and closing bracket here. This is for parameters, and then you have block of line to code here, code. So in our case, let's write the here you have to have a name, function name. Name can be anything. So here I'll just say add value. This is the function, and here we want to receive two parameters, a and b, and then after adding a plus b, we want to return that back to whichever function is calling this function. So in our case, we can do that here in console log. If you want to just print out the whole function, you can simply write the function name. This way you can see what the function is, but it does not invoke. Okay, this will return the actual function. But if you want to invoke that, you have to have the opening and closing bracket, and it will invoke. Since there is no parameter is sent, none is returned. None is not a number, so we have to send the parameter. Let's again send 4 and 5. So the order has to be same. If you want to send 4 for A, you have to write first and then 5 for B. And now if we save it, we have 4 plus 5 equals to 9. Okay, this is how you call the function and pass the parameter to get the value. So what happening here, I'll just quickly recap. So we declared the function called addValue, where we expecting two variables A and B, and we adding up A and B and we returning. Normally the code executes from right to left, so it will do B and A add up and then return the value of the A plus B to this line of code, because we are calling here. Okay, this is the normal way of writing function. There is another way of writing function in ES6. I'll just write at the bottom. We'll do same function right in ES6, which is also called arrow function, because we use arrow in there. You'll know in a second. So first we define like a variable. So we, let's say, const, and then give the function name addValue, and now we receive the parameter. So we say equals to open and close bracket. What is the equals to? Equals to open A and B and close bracket. So now before you are doing function and the name of the function, and then you are continue to write the code. Now here you first define the variable, and now you saying, okay, I want the parameter A and B, and now we create arrow function to run the code. So first define the variable and equals to parameter, and then tell it to go through the arrow and then run the function here. So the function, what is doing is simply adding A and B value and returning. So if I save it, you're gonna get same value. And there is a benefit of using arrow function. For example, okay, in this case, let me console this out. See here, if I, for example, forgot to send the value for B, now it will not give you the, it will throw the, it's not error, but it's saying that it's not a number, you are not getting any value. But in ES6, you can do provide the default value. So even though you forgot, you can still get the result. Let's say in worst case scenario, if you ever forgot to get the value of B, we can, let's say, define here, that means the default value, if no value comes for B. So if we remove this one here and save it, now it will still give the value. This is another way you can use the take the advantage of ES6. You can even make this one more shorter. Since you only have one line of code to execute and return, we don't need this curly bracket. We can simply remove the curly bracket, and you can put this line next to the arrow sign. And since you are not using curly bracket, you don't need return. So by default, it's a return here. Now if I save this, it still works. So it looks so much cleaner and easy to read. So this is the arrow function in E6. There is much more advantage using arrow function, which comes in little bit advanced. So we are not going too detail about that now, but just to know, to try to understand how you can use the arrow function instead of regular function. The method is almost the same as function. I want to show you how you can write method. So in our case of person object, where is it? Let me comment this out. Where is our person object? Here. So what we can do here is that now we can create a method called details and semicolon, and you write function here, and again opening and closing bracket, and then the value here. So you can return hello for now, hello. And let's say if you want to console this out, if you call this function we have to go through the person first. Person dot details, and if you save it, hang on, see, it returns that method, and if you put parenthesis, it will execute it and it will say hello. And in this case, what you can also do it is say hello. Okay, you can do my name is, and the plus here will concatenate the value between and make one line. So name, if the data type is number, it will add up the value and give you the total addition value, and if the data type is string, it will concatenate. And I am is plus years old. If you save it, name, okay, you cannot access name directly, so you need to use this this key. This means that you referring to the parent of the current function or method. If you are using this on the function outside, that means you're referring to the whole global object of JavaScript. If you are mentioning this inside the function or the method, that means you are referring to the parent. So basically, who owns that method that you are writing this in, you are referring that to that, like a parent level function, variable, or whatever you are doing here. So in this case, this means person, and name goes here. Same thing goes with the age as well, and save it. My name is Prem, and space, let's do, and I am 20 years old. So there is another better way you can write this in, for example, let's say if I want to write in this in 2-line code, just you can do using the template literal. So the template literal is that you write a string inside the tilt like this, and inside there you don't need anything like this plus in every way. So what you can do, simply you can say I'll just show you here. I said my name is, and you do $sign and curly bracket and open curly bracket and close curly bracket, and pass the variable inside there. And now you can start writing continue here. And I am, again, I'll just copy this one. This dot is year old, and save the file and remove this one. We don't need the top one. So this looks much cleaner and better way. And you can do this one in multiple line as well. See, this is ES6 feature as well, guys, the template literal. So you start and you open and close with the tilt sign. Okay, this is a method, and this is how you can use it and then call and invoke it. I'll just console this down. Okay, the next I want to see is okay, we done the array object function. Function ES6 array function. Okay, that's done. Let's look in the date object. Date. There are a few objects that I want to show you. Let's do date first. So you can define date simply. Let's say const, let's do today equals to, if you do just a date, D with the capital, and save it and console log out, you will get a whole long line of date. it says today's date with like all the even says like with the timestamp Australian Eastern Standard Time. Okay, this is how you access the date to from the JavaScript, and you can make this date look like better by giving the calling the method in the date. So let's create the instant of the date first by giving new property, and now the today is the instance of date. Now if you save, you're still gonna get something, but now we have access to few things here. Now you can see you can have all of this method. So what I want is I want to use two ISO string, for example. If I save this, see you are only getting a date and time, and then you can use whole bunch of thing here from here. You go and then try and then see what you think. Okay, and now you can also only get year, so you can do get UTC full year. I'll do and save it. You get 2020, and you can I think do full year as only as well. See 2020. You can get month same way, get month, save it, and you can get the month. Okay, this is how you access the date. I'll just leave like this. You know what I'll do, just to leave the comment here, const I'll do year equals to get full year, and then provide the error in console just to make sure it works. Okay, this is how you use date object. Date has pretty long list of methods that you can use, so you can definitely go and check out and see what you need. Okay, let's move next. Okay, now let's look into another object, that's math object. Here we have few things we can access to. Math comes up with bunch of method that you like a pre-built method that you can get value from. Let's say if you want to get pi value by pi val equals to, you can access with math with M capital and dot. These are the method you can access to get the value. So I want pi, so we need pi, and if I save this, and then of course we need this variable to, not that, to console out. Let's console it out, and this is the pi value. If you don't believe, you can Google it and say pi value, and you get the pi value 3.0 blah 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 blah. You can check here, and which is this one. The another one we have, let's do const a equals to maybe 4.9, because I want to show you how you can round up the number. So you can use what I'll do, I'll just console out here. Actually const val equals to math dot round. Let's say if you use 4.9a, I'll just no need this one, I'll put here straight away. So if you put 4.7, it will round up to the closest value, so it's 5. But if you do 4.4, it's round to 4. So if it is less than 5, the point value half, it will go down to the lower value. If it is more than half or even half, it will round to up value. See, this is how you can round automatically, or you can specify always using round seal and round floor, which I will show you here. Maybe okay, I'll just console this math.seal and math.floor. So if I save this, let's comment second one out first. So if we do math.seal, it will always round up, so that's why it's 4. And if I do round floor, you will get 4 value. It's regardless, like even if you have 4.9, it will still give you 4. That's the rounding value. The another one is math random. So if you need some random value to generate, you can use math.random, and you don't need any parameter there. Just save it. You will get random value. The random value is always between 0 and 1. Okay, so every time you reload the page, the value will be changed. So let's say if you want if you want to create some like a random value, you call math.random value to get 1 at a time, and then see how many times you need those value. And or you can even do like a multiply by, if you want the full digit number, you can just do multiply and then just get the first value using the round or seal or floor. Okay, I'll just remove this one. That's another handy method we have. And I want to do 2 more math before we finish with math. Const, let's do val math. Math, you can let method to give you the minimum value from the list. If I save it, it will evaluate the minimum value from the list and return you the minimum value. If you want the maximum value from the list, you just write down max instead of min, and then save it. You'll get the maximum value. Yeah, I think that is pretty much for the math that you need to know for now. Let's now do the condition that I was talking earlier. So conditional statements. Okay, we have few. We have if, we have else, we have else, if, okay, and switch. These are the conditional we have here, and I promise you that I'm gonna show some example of this case here. The logical operator here, I'll just show with the if. Let's create a function. Maybe I just want to create some function called, let's say, const speak, I don't know, just okay, that's just a random number, and let's get some param. I don't know what I'm gonna get there, and let's do return hello. Okay, speak param hello, and then let's call this function, and let's send human is speak hello, right? I think that's, then let's put this param instead of living. How about it? Living. Okay, so here now we can use condition. If we can send anything, right, from parameter. If I say, let's say cat cannot say hello, can it? No. If you have a cat that says hello, I would love to see the picture. Send me in the comment. Okay, hello, right? It's not right, so we put condition. If the living thing, if I can type while I'm speaking, that would be great, equals to output triple so that the data type is matching as well, is human, then only say cat. You can write this one in one line, or you can just write in two line. It's not letting me. One line without curly bracket, or you can use curly bracket and write like this. Okay, see, it's undefined because cat cannot speak hello. So there, here, okay, if let's say here I'll say that's one statement. So let's say if living equals to human and living and living equals to cat, we let's say return is mammal. So that means here let's here give one more parameter and let's give one more parameter, let's say type for example, and here I just put for one reason here because I wanted to use instead of living same, let's pass the type and cat and space animal. Okay, we need to send two parameter now, animal, right? So if it is human living animal or living cat, because living cat we're sending cat and the type is animal, then it is let's say it's mammal for example, if you want to print out the mammal. So this is how you can use AND operator. In this case both the condition has to match to get this code running. So instead of I send here dog, it will not, or let's say human, it will only run the top condition, top code, because it's satisfying this code, and then when the code is executing next line, and then it checks if the living is cat, no, and doesn't matter the other condition is match or not. So AND means both of them must be true in order for this code to run. If I save it, see, it will only say hello but does not say it's mammal. And same way I want to show you the OR. So in case of AND, instead of AND we can use OR. That means either of the condition is true, the result will return. So in our case before it's not returning is mammal, but if we do here either living cat is true or type is animal, we here the one condition animal will be true, this one will return, let's say 2. If I save it and if animal and cat, if living equals to cat and animal type, then return that one. So what happened here is it's returning the code block from here. So I'll just say dog for example. See, now because only one condition satisfied here, the line is returned. That's what the OR means. And the another one I wanted to show you was not, if I'm not wrong, not. So if it is not true, then so let's do if okay, I'll make in one line so that it's not too many code, line of code, it's in one line. So now let's let's do the not. So in here we only use one for example. So if it is not animal type, if the type is not animal, then it's human. Let's do that. So let's pass the living type is human or any other type than the animal. So see, now it's human, it's returning. So this is always check. If it is false, then other way around, then execute it. So this is how you use this. Not, and I also say I'll use the ternary, I think. Where is it? Ternary. Ternary is the short form of assigning value. So in the condition, so for example, I want to here, let's say const value equals to if, let's put this same condition, yeah, if or make it easier, if living is cat, if living is cat, this is the condition, is true, you put colon here. If true, return this value. What were you returning? It's mammal, right? If the living is cat, if this condition is true, return the value right after the colon, right after the question mark. If this one is true, question mark, run this one. Other than that, return anything after the colon. Here it's human again, for example. So here, let me comment this out. So what I'm saying is that I want to get the value whether it is cat or human, right? So if I want to know if it is, let's say, I'll just do cat here. If I need to know the value if it is cat or human, with the based on the living coming from here, this is how we can use ternary operator. So ternary operator, first condition, question mark, if condition is true, return this value, say colon, and then if condition is false, return this value. So let's send the cat as a living parameter for the living parameter and return this one, return value. If I save this, say it's the cat. If I put something else, it's the condition is false, so it will not return this part, it will return this part. If I save now, it's human. This is how you use ternary operator. Okay, I'll just comment this out. Okay, this is the if condition. We are using if only. Let's see how we can use else if. So here I'll quickly start writing another code. What I'm gonna do here is that I'll say if living equals to human, then I'll say return hello, because human talk hello. And again, if living equals to cat, return meow. And then same thing with the dog, for example, oof. Yeah, I'll just put this dog. So if I save this file, there is nothing coming because we don't have any satisfying condition. If I send human hello, cat meow, and the dog woof, right? So instead of writing if, we can convert that one into if and else statement. To do that, first you write if condition and put this in curly bracket, and let's say if the living is human, say hello, and anything else just say don't know, return some service character. So what we're saying here is, okay, hang on, comment this out. Okay, so what we're saying is that if the living is human, But let's remove the type as well. No, leave it. If the living is human, return hello, speak hello. Other than that, like speak gibberish, no one understand, right? So we send the human. You know what, I'll just do speak without the type, for example. Okay, now, so that means if we put random value, it will print like a random, like no one understand. When we send human, it will say hello. So that's the if and else. That's how you use it. If you want to do else if, let's say if you have one more condition to check, so this one you are checking for only one condition. If that satisfies, do some code running here. Other than that, do something else. That's for only one case. If you have more than one case to check it, you can use else if statement. To do that, before else, here what you can do is say else and then say if again and opening closing bracket and then run that one, and the else of course will follow here. And here, what's the another condition you want? You want the cat maybe here, and then you want cat to say meow. You want this, right? So in this case, now we have two conditions, like one condition and two. If I send human, say hello. If I say cat, say meow. Now I can do same thing with this. I can copy this and then write before else and change this one to dog, and dog says oof. Oops, not meow, hang on. Oh, here we need to pass the dog now and see dog. See, this is how you can use if and else statement, if else statement. This is one way, and you can use same if else. Instead of using so many if else, we can use switch to make it much cleaner look code. Okay, so to use switch, we define switch first, and here we receive the parameter. Let's say we receiving this statement living here, and inside living we define what is the case. Let's say human. If it is human, put semicolon and see what the code you want to run, and then you need to break the switch the operation so that the line does not execute below this, and then continue again. And if you have like you always need want to have always default value in case none of the case matches on the top, above. Default return the gibberish again in our case. So here let's do dog. The order doesn't matter, so as long as the default is at the end. So what we're going to do here, let's get this one, return meow for the cat, return oof for the dog, and hello for the human. And when you use return, the code will terminate here anyway, so you don't need break. If you are not returning, then you do need break, because you need to break through the code execution. So now if you call dog, say oof. If you call cat, say meow. If you say something else, you don't understand what it is speaking. So this is how you use switch, which looks much cleaner and easier to read than so many nested if else statement. And okay, that's all for the switch. Let me comment this out quickly. Okay, I don't want this function now. Let's comment this out. Okay, this is all about the conditional statement. Now let's look into loops. Loops are very important to know. Okay, in loops we got few different ways you can loop through the JavaScript code. So the one we're going to look now is for, and for has like for in and for off, and the while and do while. Okay, let's look into this one and see how we can use it in our code. The for, let's create a function called const. I'm gonna use ES6 function. Okay, const const, I'll say loop me. That's just the function name, guys. Okay, in loop me, let's call that loop me here as no parameter for now. Save it so that we don't have any error here. Okay, in loop me, let's use for. So to use for example, there are a few things you need to know how to use for. So first you define the for reserved keyword and open bracket, close bracket, and you'll have code to run here. So these are what? So in for you want to loop, right? So first you tell where to start from. So let's say let's give I equals to 0. I want to start from 0 and semicolon, and I want to run until I value is less than 10. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna loop through every single time. So to define that, we do I plus plus. Remember, plus plus means the increment by 1. So we start looping from 0 when the I value is 0, and we loop all the way until the I value is less than 10. And then every time we loop, we will increase the value of I by 1. And what we're going to do here is I'm just gonna do console log here, console log, just print I, and let's save it. Now see, you have value of 0 till 9 because it's starting to print first 0 and value of I is increased. Next time 1, all the way running until the value of I is less than 10. So this is how you use for loop. And if you want to break the loop, there are two ways you can break the loop. You can use continue and break, like break we used in our switch before. The difference between these two is the break means it will break through the loop and it will take your code execution outside the loop function. Continue only skip one time. Like while you have looping the code, if you only want to loop for one time, let's say for example, if the I value is ever have same as 5, then I want to skip this time. So that time you provide continue, and if you put continue here, then the I will the 5 will never be printed here. Let's check it out. See, we have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, but not 5, and stop. But let's say now instead of breaking, I want continuing. What about if I ever get the value of I equals to 5? I want to break through this loop and then go out of the loop. Break through this loop, for loop, and then exit the for loop. So if you save it, now it will only print up to 1, 2, 3, 4 because it is breaking the loop and the execution code is going out. So that's the difference. You can use two ways to skip or break the loop. This is how you use for. And I'm gonna write here So now let's see how you use for in. For in is similar a concept, it will loop through it, but in general case it's like in case of the object. Let's create one object here for in. If you want to loop through object, use for in. So what I'm gonna do, const people, or still do person. I'm gonna create a very small object, again name. I'm just basically using same as above. Is 20. I feel laughing every time I write is 20. Okay, and now loop. Okay, now let's loop that through this. You know what, you can basically make it, okay, I'll make a little bit complex. Okay, so you can have, no, that's fine. Okay, here if you want to loop through the property, sorry, this is, I mean to put colon here, loop through the property, we can use for in. The way you use for in is, first you write down for, and inside, now, oops, first you write down for, and inside, first you define the value, let's say const, and you want the key in that person object, right? So what you're saying is that you want to loop through this person and get the key which is inside the person. So that means key 1, key 2. So if you do console log here, you will get, let's do console.log key, you will get all the property here. Person is not defined because it's case sensitive. Okay, see, now it's looping through this object and getting the key. And if you want to access the value of the key like that, again, you have to give the person object and give the position of the key. I mean, give the value of the key. When you save it, now you're gonna get the value. So this is how you can use for in. And for off is similar like for in, but let's see in the array condition. Let's say const, remember we have a fruits array somewhere before. I remember we have this fruits array. Let's copy that one and paste here. Okay, so if you want to loop through this array list, you can use for off. To do that, first you write for, and inside again same like before, how you did in the in the object. Just first const what you want value, so define the value. This is the parameter for individual value. Okay, value of what, the fruit, and have a curly bracket, open close, and console.log. Now you can do value, and if you save it, now there you go, your list of the fruit are printed here. So this is how you use the for off loop. I'll close that down, sorry, comment it out. And the another one we want to use is while, and then we'll see do while. So while loop, the way you write while loop is first you do while, use that keyword, and put the condition here and run the code inside. Okay, because there is no condition, so it will not work. So the condition, what do you want? Let's say I want this line to printed on until, okay, let's, you know what we do here, it's I equals to, let's say 0, and then when until the I is less than 10. Remember in for loop here before? Yes, we are doing same thing here. Until the I value is less than 10, just keep printing, actually print I here, so I can see. And if I just save this file, it's gonna crash my browser. If you want, you can try, because you know what happens, I value is always 0, and then this statement always true. So as long as the statement is true, the while function will keep executing this line. So that's how you can crash your browser, which I don't want to. So what I want to do is I will increment I by 1. So what happens, every time it's running this code, it will increase the value of I, and it checks here, and then if the condition is satisfied, true, then runs this line of code. So if I save the file, oops, what it says, loop me assign to constant variable. Yeah, we cannot assign to constant variable, so change to late. So now see the same result like this for loop before. 1 2 3 4 all the way 5 and 9. So this is how you use while loop. And do while is similar but with one extra feature. So in while loop, the code inside the bracket will only run if the condition is true. But if you ever get any case where you want to run the code for at least one time and then start checking this condition, then you use do while. So just write down do and do console.log I in our case, and now after that say while the condition, put the same condition. Okay, I'll just copy paste. It's doing the same thing, but it's checking, it's running code first and then doing the check for second time run. So what happens, I is 0, so it will print the 0 first and then go and check the condition, and if it is true, I'll come back and run the code here again. If I save this, hang on, I need to do quickly before it crashes. Yeah, did I manage to do it? Or too fast? See, I forgot to do it, and now it's gonna probably crash the browser. I'm gonna stop. Stop. Okay. You know what I'm gonna do? Probably I'll close this browser before it crashes. Yeah, that's better. Otherwise, it will crash the browser. Let me run this again. I was just telling you that, and I crashed it, didn't I? Why is not running? Open with live server. Not running. Yeah. Oh my god, that one is still in heap memory. So okay, so anyway, so oops, was in wrong place, that's why. It has to be here. Okay, so you define what you want to do. As long as this line of code is run, if the condition is satisfied, then it will go back to here code and then run the code here. So I can put one plus sign here and save it, and I got the page not responding. Okay, here you go, from 1 to 9. This is what I was telling you guys. If you don't have a way to break your loop, it will loop infinitely and then definitely crash your browser. Okay, so if I do it again, see 0 to 9. So every time first printing 0 and then increasing the value of I, checking condition pass, go to do, and then so on and so forth. Okay, that's all for the loop. Let's quickly check how we can handle the error in JavaScript. I want to comment this all out. Okay. Okay, let's create a function called error log probably, and what we're going to do here is see how we can handle the error. Okay, so basically the way you handle the error is by writing try-catch blocks, same like any other programming language. So what happens is that you try to run the code here first, and if any error occurs, it will catch it and then make you available here what's the error about. So here if we do console.error, so this is runtime error. Okay, so let's say if we do a plus 5, that's definitely wrong because, okay, let's return that one as well, because a has not been defined anyway, so that's error, right? So if we just let's run this, save it, say we'll say here a is not defined. So if we didn't catch this one, and if save it, hang on, if let's just, if you run this code just without the try catch block, this code line will not run because we are returning here. Save it, see this is red, that is means that your app is crashed. So to handle that case, we can do catch to catch the error. You can even get actual masses with accessing the masses property of the error. Masses, see a is not defined, so now we know. So this way now we can like call the function again or do whatever you want to do to handle the application. This way the application is not crashed. Now you still have control over the error. And there is another one comes with try and catch called finally. If you ever want to run any code regardless catch and try and catch, you can use finally, and that the finally will run at the end. Okay, so see the finally is here now, so regardless the try and catch, the finally will always run. Okay, so this is how you handle the error. So this is pretty basic way to handle the error. So once you know how to do small and simple stuff, you can always progress to advance. So that is all for this JavaScript basic tutorial. I really hope you guys got some value from this tutorial. If you do, please like the video, and if you want to receive more tutorial like this, subscribe the channel. And yes, if you have any question or query, or if you get any issue writing this code, write in the comment section and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Till then, bye for now. I'll see you in the next tutorial. Bye. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. If you like this tutorial, please smash that like button. If you have any questions, if you get stuck anywhere, write in the comment section down below. I'll definitely reply back to you as soon as possible. And if you want to receive more tutorial like this, subscribe the channel and hit the notification bell icon so that you don't miss any tutorial in the future. So guys, code every day. The repetition is master of skill. So guys, write the code every day, learn something every day. So I'll see you in the next video. Bye.